So that's interesting to see how the technology I worked on is applied to different fields, and mining especially is a field that I've never even thought about in my time as a developer. So that's really the thing that actually got me to AG Tech. It was just the aspect of using technologies in ways I didn't think of that they would be used before. And I chose Kazakhstan because, well, it's something new. So I do see AG Tech being a global product. So it could be interesting to see, and I'll definitely love to see that. And maybe in the future, if DMS expands to Canada, I'll definitely love to work on it from there.
Would you like to stay in Kazakhstan and work here?
Yeah, it could definitely be an option.
Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers. Oh, wow.
AG Tech Podcast, on a wave of new opportunities.
Hello to all listeners and viewers of the video version of the AG Tech Podcast. Welcome to a unique journey on the wave of new opportunities into the exciting world of information technology, together with a team of professionals from the Kazakh IT company AG Tech. My name is Nursultan Makhambet and I am DevOps engineer. In this episode, I will be the host of our podcast. It's no secret that the AG Tech team not only pays special attention to upgrading the skills of its employees, but also takes great pleasure in sharing its wealth of experience with young future specialists who want to gain new knowledge in the IT field. Previously, we introduced our new intern from Canada, Bogdan Radu, on our social media pages. He was interested in our production management system, DMS, and therefore decided to take an internship with us. We accepted him into the team. It's time to get to know Bogdan better, so we invited him to the AG Tech Podcast studio. By tradition, in the beginning of the episode, let me remind you that AG Tech Podcast is available on all popular podcast platforms, Apple, Google, and Yandex Music. We publish the video version on our YouTube channel. All links are in the episode description. Be sure to be subscribed and we will get started.
AG Tech Podcast, on a wave of new opportunities.
So, hi everyone. Today our guest is Bogdan Radu. He is from Canada. He was born in Romania, and now he is practicing DevOps in Kazakhstan, in Astana, in our company AG Tech. So, hi Box.
Hi, great being here.
How are you?
I'm alright.
So, tell about yourself. How did you move from Romania to Canada?
Yeah, so I was born in Romania. I started a normal life. Went to school there, made some couple friends, but then my dad actually received an offer to work in Canada, and I was around 11 or 12 years old at the time, and we all decided that for our family that was the best move. And it was a hard adjustment, of course. Romania and Canada are two very different places. One's, of course, North American, the other one's European. One's very cold, the other one's not as much. So that's a hard adjustment to make. But overall, I never really regretted it. It was an interesting transition. And in the end, I did manage to get adjusted to life there. So overall, it's been interesting. But now I'm going to university and, just exploring different paths, whether they would be in Canada or anywhere else, really.
So is Canada called as Astana?
Actually, yeah, it's about the same, surprisingly. Even though it's the cities that I live in are more northern on the globe, they're about the same temperature. So the temperature here isn't really a shock, to be honest. I'm pretty used to them. I still don't like the cold. I'm not a fan of the cold at all. But nothing that's not I'm not already acclimated to, I guess I would say.
Why did you choose DevOps as your profession?
That's a great question. So when I started programming since my first year of university, and I did some projects as well in the past. And I actually got pretty interested in cloud development. My first job was actually working as a junior cloud developer, which allowed me to work with technologies in AWS and GCP, working on servers as well and networking. And that actually just gave me the tools that I needed to go into DevOps. I learned about it afterwards, after I got my second job, where I was interviewed for my for DevOps position. And at first I didn't really know what it was, because DevOps was at that time a new word for me. But then I learned that it does entertain some of the values used in cloud computing and cloud development. So pretty much just it happened to be something that I really enjoyed doing, and then just pretty much stuck with it afterwards.
Did you started to learn DevOps because of its popularity and it's something like mainstream?
I guess not really, because DevOps is not the most mainstream part. You ask most of the developers, they go front end, back end, full stack, the popular stuff, I would guess. I just went to DevOps because I enjoyed doing it the first time, and I want to learn more about it. It's something that's different from full stack or back end or front end. And I just happened that I would really enjoy it. And now it has gained a bit more popularity since I started. And I guess that's good. It's a great career to be in, great position to be in. I get to explore with new different technologies on a daily basis. And it's just been entertaining. It's just been fun to work in. And yeah, it just happened that DevOps was something that I actually found an interest in, which is, great.
Why did you choose AgTech while we have many IT companies in Kazakhstan?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I chose AgTech because it was one of the companies that I first looked at when applying for internships. So I had the opportunity to apply for many different internships in many different countries, actually. And AgTech seemed, with the technologies that they're using for the DMMS and other products, is just something that I never worked with before. I never worked with mining technologies, for example. I only worked with in either just computing or also fintech. And it was something that was definitely, out of my area of comfort, out of my area of even expertise. So that's interesting to see how the technology I worked on is applied to different fields, and mining especially is a field that I've never even thought about in my time as a developer. So that's really the thing that actually got me to AgTech. It was just the aspect of using technologies in ways that I didn't think of that they would be used before. And I chose Kazakhstan because, well, it's something new. I'm still in university. I have some more years left. And with the internships that I have, I decided to do as much as possible and get as much out of my comfort zone as possible. I'm trying to learn Russian. I've already learned how to read Cyrillic, so that's a start. And overall, it's just been an eye-opening experience. I've been enjoying it a lot, and overall, I've been having a great time.
I think you have good experience here.
Oh, definitely. No, it's definitely been something that has been out of my comfort zone, and it took me a while to adjust, but I do really enjoy it. It's really been great.
It's nice.
Yeah.
So, do you remember your first day in our company? What was your expression?
Yeah, I do remember it a bit. I remember I was very nervous. That was the main thing. I was just very nervous to, actually meet everyone, get started. Especially that I didn't speak the language, and everyone, I was just a new guy around. So it was definitely nervous, but it was exciting. I got a tour. I actually met you first time.
Yeah.
And it was definitely nerve-wracking. But I got used to it eventually, and overall it's been a great experience since. I did get confused at first whether we were working on the second floor or the fifth floor. I got that confused. Well, while the buddies I couldn't touch on the elevator at 3rd or 4th floor, so I needed to get adjusted to that. Also, couldn't find the coffee machine on the first day. That was a bit something I need to get adjusted to. But it's been it's been a great experience, even though I've been very nervous, and that actually opened up eventually as I got them more and more. But overall, yeah, it's just been great. It's just been really interesting seeing, again, just the new work environment, find the similarities and differences from my past work environments. That's been a really interesting first day.
Did you work before in office? So, or is it your first experience working on site?
Yeah, it's actually been my first experience working full time on site. Yeah, so my first job was fully online because of COVID, and my second job adjusted to a hybrid model. So I did Mondays and Fridays at home, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays at the office. So that's been the biggest adjustment, I'll say. That I need to go and go to the office 5 days a week, which for some people that seems normal because that was the norm at one point. But that's been the biggest adjustment for me personally.
So tell us in detail, what are you learning now as an internship?
Yeah. So what I've been mainly learning is using new technologies and applying them to our main systems. Right now, I am working on implementing a system called Ansible AWX, which, for those who don't know, is overall a management system for playbooks on a bigger scale. So instead of running a single application once every single time, you just have one big control panel and you start jobs simultaneously from one point, which has seemed to really increase efficiency in some of my tests. Other things I've been working on was installation and over maintenance of servers for other teams as well. So working with different particular teams in applying new projects. But overall, what I've been learning is new methodologies of doing stuff, the simple stuff. So instead of going and randomly trying and throw something on the wall until it sticks to it, just trying and that doesn't work. Now I have been learning a methodology of doing things step by step, and then using that to apply in anything new that I've been learning. So I've been doing stuff that I did before. I did Ansible, using Docker, that I did before. However, actually using them in an efficient manner that I haven't done before, unfortunately. And I got the opportunity to do that more efficiently this time around. So overall, what I've been learning is applying new technologies and using them efficiently to create the best product or the best overall result possible.
Has your impression of the company changed today?
If it changed today, or I mean, yeah, it's I've always been learning new things about the company, and it's the first company that I've been to that does podcasts, so that's something new. But overall, since my time here, it definitely has changed, but for the better, obviously. Met great people around, everything is so friendly, and overall what we're working on is really interesting. So I've been getting to know more about that process, and it has been overall more eye-opening and more positive. I don't think I've ever had a bad day at AG Tech. I've always said I was either a bit tired or I was good.
So every day is getting better.
Yeah, every day is getting better, and there hasn't really been a bad day. And that's the thing that I really like about it.
That's nice to hear.
Yeah.
How do you see the future of DMS? Do you know about this system?
Yeah. Yeah, and also right now, I know that we are looking into, I believe, expansion into other countries as well. And I believe that that's where the future is, expanding into different markets that wouldn't necessarily use products in Kazakhstan. So I think the future would be not even in Central Asia. So that would be probably the first step, expansion into all Central Asia where it is applicable. But maybe even in the greater Asia as well, maybe Russia, China, Mongolia, and even maybe in North America, if we get ambitious. And at that point, I think we can reach that point, honestly. So I do see AG Tech being a global product that's used by many different companies, having different contracts, and having an overall more global share of our product. So it could be interesting to see, and I'll definitely love to see that. And maybe in the future, if DMS expands to Canada, I'll definitely love to work on it from there.
And I believe that it will be very useful for many companies.
Yeah.
Save lives.
Yeah, especially countries that don't have as many resources and are just getting started into either mining or mining technologies. And I've definitely seen this also in first world countries as well, even in the US or Canada, especially up north in Nunavut, in Yukon, in the northern provinces of Canada. There aren't many really technologies that I've seen in the mines up there that can, that work efficiently, and that actually offer a good, interface to work on. So that's easily and applicable for anyone, and anyone that might use the program and the system. So I definitely see this expanding on a bigger outside Kazakhstan basis. That's how I see the future possibly.
What are the main differences between work cultures in Canada, USA, Kazakhstan, maybe in Romania?
Well, the biggest work shock that I experienced, quote unquote shock, is that in Canada I used to work 9 to 5. Now here I work 9 to 6. However, that back in Canada I only had half an hour off break. Here I have 1 hour break, so it balances out. That's the biggest, thing that I need to get adjusted to. Second biggest would be, more similarity rather, that I've actually been using a lot more agile development systems, because even though I used it in some companies back home, we didn't really use it as efficiently as possible. So what I did was just write a ticket and kept it there and didn't touch it until I finished it. So I didn't update the progress, I didn't update anything. I just said it's here, I do it, and it's done. Here I need to update it daily to actually update with the processes, and keep up to date with everything I'm doing and write it on paper too. So that was another change that I've experienced. And another one could be language, obviously. That's the biggest shock to me. But in terms of work-life balance, I'll say it's actually pretty similar. I wouldn't say that I'm working outside of my working hours too much. I am able to balance both work and home life balance. Every time, for example, every time I finish work, I go to the gym, and I usually end at around 8 p.m. And that gives me a pretty full day, to be honest. So it hasn't been too much of a big shock in terms of differences. There's definitely some differences, and but they're not something that I actually had too much trouble adjusting to.
How important is international experience in IT? What do you think?
I think it's very important. I mean, the simple aspect of IT and programming requires you to search a lot of answers on many different forums, no matter where you might be. So, for example, last week I actually needed to fix a problem. I found this, like, no other website worked. ChatGPT didn't do anything. So I actually looked deep into the internet, and I found this website from Colombia. Actually, it was in Spanish. I could read some of it, but overall it explained the steps what I need to do in very big detail. And obviously, the access of internet has given us the opportunity to connect with people from all over the world, and hence solve problems that many people experience it on different points of the earth simultaneously. And then we were able to create solutions and find solutions together as a bigger IT community. It's definitely important, and no matter the language barrier, that might be the biggest holdup in the IT community. But what I've seen is that most, if not all, people who work in IT need to get in there and actually get connected with other people in the IT community worldwide. We're experiencing the same issues, the same problems, and it's a lot easier to find solutions when working in a big group, especially as big as a community as the IT community. So definitely, definitely international relations in IT are a big positive and a must even. It's definitely has been improving the world day by day. And as the IT community keeps on growing every single year, that emphasis on international, I guess, community and overall collaboration keeps getting bigger each and every single day, especially with emerging markets that have more access to internet every single year. We see the need for working on international problems, and that problem is becoming more clear on a daily basis. So, in short, very important, definitely.
What are your expectations from this internship?
Yeah. So I guess some of my expectations are just to overall get integrated in work-life balance in Kazakhstan, see how life is here, and that's definitely been the biggest, my biggest goal in mind. Also learning Russian, but that's me proven to not be feasible in only 3 months. It's it's a full language, and I've been only learning a couple of phrases or so. But overall, my expectations besides that are overall being more familiarized with DevOps processes and applications, softwares as well, different technologies, and how I can use them and apply them in previously known technologies, and overall how to just integrate daily knowledge in whatever I'm doing, whether it be in IT or not. And I believe that I've been getting a lot of that on a daily basis. I've been learning new technologies and how to apply them not only on a local project, but also on a bigger picture aspect. And that's definitely something that I've had the opportunity, and I will have the opportunity to continue doing. And I guess that was my biggest thing that I could achieve with that. And I've been very happy with how I got that.
So I guess you have good opportunities to get good skills, good knowledge.
Oh yeah, definitely. I feel that every single internship that I do,
New
I get
friends.
something new. Yeah, new friends too.
Maybe
Yeah, exactly.
girlfriend.
Yeah, of course. How can I forget? Yeah, and I definitely have been learning new technologies, how to interpret them and how to apply them on overall a bigger scale. I feel that at every single interview I gain something new, and I can use that further and further in my career and actually get better on a daily basis. As I've been saying, I learn something new by the hour, pretty much, and that's definitely been incredibly exciting and incredibly rewarding as well.
Did you learn something new for you in the EGTech, like maybe some life hacks or something like this?
That's a good question. Let me think.
In Kazakhstan overall.
Yeah. For example, ordering in food. That was the biggest challenge I had. So, my biggest challenge is that I don't have Kaspi. So I've been actually trying to get adjusted to working life around Kaspi, which has been proven rather difficult, to be honest. So I either need to carry cash on me, which I never do. I'll carry cards on me. That's the biggest thing I need to learn how to do. Carry cash and always have cash if some doesn't accept either card or and I don't have Kaspi. So I guess my biggest life hack has been trying to adjust around that by always having cash on me when I'm getting food or overall just doing anything. Even when I'm going shopping, I've actually had times where they didn't take cards, they didn't take cash, but I had Kaspi. It's like, oh, okay, what do I do? It's like, I don't know. So it's been not really a life hack, but a life challenge I need to overpass while I was here. And that's something that I need to overall learn how to adapt to.
But Kaspi is very useful.
I can see why, yeah. It's we have something similar in Canada, not at all as advanced, to be honest. We have e-transfer, which is just transferring money from one account to the other.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, it's okay, it's good, but it's definitely not as fast as people would like. And also, we don't use QR codes. That was actually new to me. And no, it's been interesting to see how that technology is put into fintech applications like this. So I didn't think that could be applied. But I saw that it looks to be very, very useful, and people use it pretty much not even daily, hourly, I would say.
We have everything in one application. So there's a market, you can buy tickets for the train, airplanes, everything.
Yeah, actually, I didn't know that. I knew it was only for maybe banking. That's what I thought I was. Yeah.
So I know that you were on a Digital Bridge exhibition in Astana. What was interesting for you there?
Yeah. So I've actually been attending both days. I've been to a lot of the talks there. And what I found really interesting were about integrating AI into educational aspects, which had a panel of about 5-6 people from many different parts of life, where there would be tech CEOs, people working in the Ministry of Education here, overall just educators and experts in IT. Overall, the panels that I found more interesting were in the development of AI and how we are using it to actually have new opportunities, and how it could either make or break the balance we have in current modern technologies. And that the IT and the AI in education one comes to mind right now, because that has been the biggest problem, especially now I'm in school, and I've seen it happen where people just do assignments. They just put in the prompt in ChatGPT, say, do this, enter this, and then they just copy paste. So that's been the biggest problem, where people think of, should we ban it in schools, or how do we adapt and use that to the advantage of bettering education for everyone? So, and the topic of AI has been charged in the workplace as well, whether it's in the efficiency of work and overall understanding of processes. So, where it's the actual code that could be used in, let's say, it's code that ChatGPT produces, and putting that into work, see how feasible it is, and if it actually makes sense. That's been a big argument for. And also just overall safety, not safety, but rather privacy issues. And that's a big thing that we actually seen happen with OpenAI, where OpenAI has, even last week, I've actually been collecting data based on API applications of web of chatbots. And then last week, the former CEO Sam Altman said, "Yeah, we've been using that, and we've been using what you did with those chatbots to train our own model. So thank you. You're now useless. Our product is now better, but thank you for providing to our product without you even knowing." So the aspect of privacy and overall, I guess, safety on that has been challenged at the Digital Bridge, and we have seen it happen just as recently as last week, which is not, I would say, funny, but rather more concerning. It has been funny that it has just happened all so sudden, and thousands of GPT-based web chats have just been shut down, just like that.
Let's talk about your impressions of Kazakhstan in general. Is it your first time in Kazakhstan?
Actually, it's my second time.
Really?
But yeah. I've been actually here last year during summer for vacation. Actually, I've been here for about 3 weeks or so. And I actually got to experience at that time not only Astana, but I've also been to Almaty, also been to Shymkent, also to the beach area. So I actually got to experience it quite a bit. And this time, my biggest impressions were that it's there's a combination of very many different cultures here. For one, it's the Asian culture, obviously. There's that Central Asian link, the traditions. Obviously, it's seen especially strong here. And also, obviously, there's the European perspective and the European influence. As Kazakhstan has been under the USSR for the past 50 years, and only got independence as recently as 91. And I'd certainly seen how there's that blend of I guess European or European cultures integrating with Asian culture as well, which has definitely been interesting. And I can see it even in the architecture. Every single building has an aspect that's maybe European with some Asian touches, or the other way around, an Asian building with some European touches, which has definitely been interesting to see, because there's not many places in the world that have that sort of homogeneity, I'll say. So that's definitely been the biggest wow factor. I'll say there's also some American aspect even, and that would be with the roads. That's pretty wide. They have like 6, 7, 8 lanes, and that's something that you don't really find in Europe at all. Mainly in North America, or I'll say maybe even in the UAE with the massive roads. So that was also something that was pretty interesting to see. And also something that I do find pretty funny is the amount of Georgian food.
Georgian food?
Yeah. Like every single restaurant. I live in a building, and downstairs there's a mall, a shopping mall, and there's about 5 different Georgian restaurants.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have, I don't remember the names, but they're popular.
Yeah. And I've seen that there's also basically there's that appreciation for the Caucasus region, for I guess the culture there, because it's actually I'll say there's big similarities with it, even though they're more on the I guess on the west side. But I've actually seen how geographically close for example Kazakhstan and Georgia are, and I've definitely seen some aspects of that more Eastern European culture also here as well. Because also for me, as an Eastern European, Romania was also under Soviet influence for in the mid-late 20th century, and there's definitely be some aspect that I've recognized from that. Whether it be the old buildings or overall just the lifestyle, or maybe overall how people are. Definitely some aspects that I've recognized from my years in Romania as well. So it's definitely been really, really interesting, because there's not really one thing that I'll take away from it. It's just a bunch of different aspects all put together and then creating the culture here. That's been truly eye-opening.
What can you say about Astana?
Okay.
Is there any difference between Astana, Almaty, Shymkent?
Yeah. So I don't remember much about Almaty. I've been there for last year, maybe for 4 or 5 days, around that. So besides saying the obvious that Astana is cold, that's what everyone will say here. I'll say that Astana was obviously a lot newer, and it's a lot more planned. I'll say Almaty reminds me a lot of Bucharest, actually, of the capital city of Romania, where I used to live, because it's more European. It's more it's more evolved. It's not planned. It's evolved. And you can definitely see that in the architecture, in the streets. It's they're more twirled around, and overall, also the weather as well. It's more on the European climate, so that helped create that's where I got the more Eastern European influence and I guess inspiration from, because I can definitely see that aspect there. Astana, actually, that's the biggest difference, because Astana is planned. It's very new as a city. Every single building is new, especially in downtown. Every single building is recently built. Even, let's say, a building built 20 years ago is already pretty old, and that's the biggest difference I've seen, because Astana is built from scratch in a couple of years, and it's here now, and it works very well. And that's why it reminds me of more grid-based American cities, because that's how they also are. They're more different blocks organized for whatever needs you need. That's the biggest difference that I've seen, and that's why I get the different differences and aspects from. And I'm planning to go back to Almaty before I leave, definitely. Just see how it is and maybe get away from the cold weather here as well. And overall, just try to tell the differences even more apart. But the biggest difference, Astana is planned. It's more grid-based, so it's easier to get around by car, for example. Whereas Almaty, I'll say it's probably easier to get around by foot because just overall more, not only also better weather, but also it's just the more European architecture style where not as much is based on planning, but much more is just based on natural population expansion.
And what cities do you like to visit in Kazakhstan?
Yeah, so I definitely want to go back to Almaty, see how it is. And one thing that I haven't been able to do last time I was here is go to a city near the Caspian Sea. So I heard, so I actually heard that there's nice beaches there, and when the weather is nice. And I've never actually seen the Caspian Sea, with my eyes before. So I definitely want to go there and see what's that to offer. And also I heard of this place and I want to go is in Burabai, I think it's called.
Burabai?
Yeah, Burabai. I think it's up north, like 2 hours.
Yeah, it takes 2 hours.
Yeah. And I heard that it's a nice ski resort or just overall like nice winter resort. And definitely want to see more of that if I have the time. And hopefully I actually made plans to go skiing while I was here, to go to Almaty, because that's where the ski resorts are mainly. But the problem has been that there hasn't been any snow.
Would you advise other foreign students to come Kazakhstan?
Yeah. So I guess my biggest advice is try and meet people, try and get out there. That's been the biggest challenge for me because I'm more naturally shy than other people. And especially in a country where English is spoken by people, but not as much as, I don't know, let's say Canada, for example, where everyone speaks English. I guess you just try and go out and meet as many people as you can. Eventually, you find someone that actually knows, maybe knows some English. Maybe you also try to learn Russian, maybe common phrases. So when you go into a restaurant, you can actually order something and not be blocked by the language barrier.
Yeah.
Definitely one thing that helped me the most was learning to read Russian or Cyrillic. And that has helped me a lot when I was on the street or trying to find something and I just read it and I was like, oh, okay, that's what it means. So especially don't speak Cyrillic, try and learn at least the alphabet. It's been very helpful for me. And overall, the biggest one is just get out there. It's a beautiful, massive country with many different cities and many different, options to go and see. So don't just be stuck in one place somewhere. Go and explore. It's been very rewarding for me. And that's what has actually helped me to get out of my shell and, put myself out there.
Means to be free.
Exactly.
Would you like to stay in Kazakhstan and work here?
Yeah, it could definitely be an option. Right now I don't even know where I want to stay for in the next 2 years because I probably don't want to stay in Canada because I'm already pretty much used to Canada. The US is an option, maybe Europe is an option. So anywhere in Kazakhstan, now that I've actually spent some time here and I'm actually accustomed to day-to-day life here, it definitely is an option that I'm considering. I also, as I spent some more time here, I also got to meet with some people from the international community here, which isn't massive, but there are people here who are also, I guess, expats. And I got to meet with them and talk with them about their experience here. And for them, it's been nothing but rewarding. So after getting their perspective as well, it's definitely an option. I'd probably say that I'll have to learn Russian more so I can live here comfortably because all people, even expats that I met, are either have lived in, let's say, Georgia or Russia or Ukraine. or any other place that has spoken Russian, and they have been able to. The language barrier hasn't really been an issue for them. So maybe if I learn more Russian or even Kazakh, even if I learn,
You can also try Kazakh language.
yeah, from what I heard it's more similar to Turkish, right? But and definitely I need to learn a language at least, or more, I guess, more over the basic level, so that I actually I get to enjoy or get the most out of my life here. So if I learn Russian, then definitely I have nothing but a great time here. So it's definitely an option for me in the future.
So now let's talk about our work, our profession.
Yeah.
How do you usually react to the failures, to the difficulties?
Yeah.
Your work.
So at this point, it's something that I need to get used to as a programmer. There's that saying that if something works right on the first time, then it's actually more suspicious. It shouldn't be doing that. It should break first and then try to fix the mistake first. So it at times it can definitely be stressful or annoying, especially if you're doing everything right and you're doing everything by the book. It can get annoying. But what I've noticed that helped me the most was actually talk with my colleagues, talk with my peers, and then try and solve that problem together. That way has actually helped me to advance further. For example, I had a question I asked you, and that you help me get further. If I didn't do that, I'll probably stay another 5 hours working on the same problem. So the biggest aspect of working in IT is not finding a solution, but finding a solution to your solution. That's the biggest part that everyone in IT needs to get used to eventually. So I can say that I am almost at that point where I'm used to the stress of
panic next time.
Of something not working. I'm just do something by the book and say, why isn't that working? I did it exactly how this says there. And then for example, the biggest challenge has been AWX. That's been the biggest thing because there hasn't been too much documentation. But overall, the biggest challenges have been resolved by talking with people and gaining more perspectives especially from people that don't work in your department, because they have a different perspective on how different sources might work. So that's something that I've been that as a programmer you need to get used to. You need to get used to talking to people. You need to get used to reaching out there whenever you have a problem. And it's best to talk and humble yourself instead of just staying 8 hours to the same problem.
Most of solutions we can find in the internet there.
Yeah. I mean, even when you find some sources on the internet, a lot of them are, they're either incomplete or just pure plain wrong. But that has been the another big aspect is finding the right source for whatever it is that you need to do, or whatever it is that you need to find, because a lot of the sources are either outdated, deprecated, wrong, or just aren't the sources that you're working for. So the aspect of being able to find the right answer to your problem is also an aspect that everyone in IT needs to get used to, and it's just something that you get used to it the more you do it.
So I think so that if you can search, if you can use Google, it will be more efficient than you have some basic knowledge or something like this.
Yeah, especially if you
can find more faster.
Yeah, because you can optimize Google to search for what you need, and that's a thing that a lot of people don't know, is that even though you're looking for an answer, you're not asking the right questions. And I believe that, for example, the new GPT on Bing has actually been able to resolve most of those problems, because people are specific. When we're looking for something, over detailed and specific, and Google or any search engine for that matter hasn't been able to replicate that. Instead, you cannot replicate that if you use the specific algorithm of searching, using key phrases or tags or
using quotes.
Yeah, quotes. Yeah, quotes and pluses. Yeah. So, and that aspect I think has been majorly simplified by GPT and AI, because it's been taking human language and processing it, especially for the being AI, has been processing it for for a search algorithm, which has been very useful, and it continues to get better by the day. And yeah, so overall, if you know how to search it, then that's the biggest aspect of problem solving and trying to find a solution for any problem.
Box, in the conclusion of the main part of this interview, thank you. It was really interesting.
Yeah, no, it definitely was very interesting, and it's been great chatting with you, and it's been great making about these questions and answering all of them. So yeah, it's been great. Thank you very much for the opportunity once more.
And now, especially for viewers of the video version of our podcast, we have prepared a bonus, a special section in which Bogdan will taste dishes of Kazakh national cuisine and share his impressions. Therefore, if you listen to the audio version, be sure to go to our YouTube channel and watch. We will indicate the time code.
AG Tech Podcast, on a wave of new opportunities.
Hey Box, we have prepared a small dasarkhan for you. We have a kurt, gent, horse's meat, and hummus in our menu. So try them one by one and share your impressions.
Yeah, for sure. I guess we'll start with Kurt. Oh. Oh, okay.
Do you like it?
Yeah, good. Yeah, it's definitely salty.
Yeah.
It's this part's pretty dry, pretty salty. But overall, I like salty food. So yeah.
Okay.
So overall, I don't know, say 7 out of 10.
What about horse meat? Did you eat it?
Actually,
before?
yeah. I didn't eat it before Kazakhstan, but actually got to try it here. And no, I do like it actually. Like even like I eat horse steak usually. I go to restaurants, and it's really been I really liked it. So I guess it's like what I guess turkey or not like a jerky, I guess. Yes, cheers.
And try it.
Yeah. Yeah, no complaints. 10 out of 10. I like it. Yeah. I usually just like snack on these when I go to bed or before I go to bed. I guess this is a.
It's a gent.
Okay, I'm not sure if I tried this. Let's see. Interesting. Yeah. I guess it's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers. Oh wow.
Kazakh people use hummus as a alcohol drink.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, is it alcoholic or?
Yeah, it may contain some alcohol.
Oh, okay.
Maybe 1-2%.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I can't taste the alcohol, but no, actually, this actually tastes pretty good. Oh yeah, no, honestly, it's really, really good. I did like the dessert. I think it's definitely interesting. It's like how it's the texture is like almost sandy. Oh yeah, it's really good. Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
AG Tech Podcast, on a wave of new opportunities.
So Bogdan, traditionally, in the end of our podcast, we give opportunity to the guests to speak on any topic. You're welcome.
I mean, one topic that I think we touched before on our conversation was the aspect of AI and how it could actually change the work landscape and what we can do about it and how we can best use it. So I have used ChatGPT before.
So yeah, I think that ChatGPT is very useful in nowadays. I use it everywhere. So in my work, in daily life, for example, how to fix some problems with car, something like that. So yeah,
because I've been using it also pretty much every day, and also for work, also for personal projects. I've been using it a lot, and what I've been noticing is that I've been using it for the most specific random questions possible. So for example, what are the ranks in the police in Ottawa? So just something completely random that doesn't make any sense, but I was just curious at that one point one time because it just came up in my head. So I've just been using it, I think, too much because it's just been it's just been, I also have it on my phone, so I just have it at all times on me. So definitely been an interesting change of century technology that we have introduced, because overall for example for programming, that's the biggest it's my biggest use personally. I just use it for programming sometimes, and sometimes it's very useful. Sometimes it's it gives me the steps on how to approach a big picture problem. But then, for example, it gets very specific. Then, ChatGPT doesn't actually do what it's supposed to do. That you actually need to think. And I guess that could lead to problems, actually, especially for, I guess, my generation too, which is still in school, and even in high school, in grade school. That could be a massive problem there because people don't have the skills to come up with stuff on their own, whether it be in programming or in mathematics or in essays. So I guess that's where the biggest problems with ChatGPT can come in.
Yeah. So you think that every people should have some basic knowledge, some strong basic knowledge, yeah?
Yeah, I guess while there should be a point where we need to see where we can integrate ChatGPT and overall AI in our daily processes, where it be in art, for example, how did DALL-E made the images by just typing something and then a picture generated. So something like that. There can be a point where we are learning something and then we can see how we can do more for using ChatGPT. Because I think most people are using it just, I want to do this, ChatGPT, how do I do this? I guess if we know how we know the basic principles of doing something, but when we want to use it in something in a sector that we're not used to. For example, if I want to do something in finance, which I haven't worked in finance before, but I want to do something related to programming in finance, I can ask ChatGPT, okay, what are the variables to consider in stocks, for example, when doing some code based on stocks? Like, what's important to consider? Why is that important to consider? Stuff like that. So I guess for me, it's just been interesting how people use it at a point where they can't do anything without it. But it can definitely be useful as a tool where you're trying to do something in a new sector that you haven't touched before, and you can use your experience to build something that you didn't think you'd have the time to do. Yeah. And actually I just checked right now, there's been some big drama with OpenAI, with their CEO stepping down or getting kicked out or whatever. It's it's crazy how we've become dependent on one big company.
So thanks for dropping by, Bogdan.
Yeah,
Nice to meet you. Yeah.
It's been great being here.
Yeah. It it was a good conversation.
Yeah, of course.
Why? We thank Bogdan once again for the interesting conversation and wish him success on the remainder of his internship. And we wish you, our dear listeners and viewers, to be on the wave of new opportunities with us. Therefore, join us and listen to our podcast on all popular platforms, Apple, Google, and Yandex Music. And for those who prefer video format, we are waiting on our YouTube channel. Also subscribe to our pages on social media to stay updated on the latest company news. That's all. See you in the next episode. Bye bye.
AG Tech Podcast on a wave of new opportunities.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Both.
Стоп. Я сказал, что мы забыли. Я оставил ее.
Я тоже руку протягиваю.
На руки смотрю и вижу, что бумага осталась.